I'm Andy motherfucking Rice.
You
I
know,
like that.
in this town. And so it's just taken a little bit longer because
Right.
whatever talent I was lacking or that I was drinking myself out of, momentum was sort of carrying me, because
Right.
I was worth something just because people knew who I was. And I was really fucking everything up. And so I just said, wow. And again, I've heard you have to hit rock bottom, and I dispute that. I think you have to see it and be smart enough to realize that in, the blink of an eye, that'll be, your broken body on the rocks.
Sure.
And luckily, my wife, who is an amazing human being and gives me so much material, she has supported me with all this. I mean, if I were to go home with beer on my breath, I have no idea the kind of physical and mental anguish I would endure at her hands.
Does she drink at all or no?
Yeah, she'll have a beer, glass of
Okay.
wine, whatever, social. When we're barbecuing with friends or something, she'll have a glass of Merlot or whatever is trendy
Okay.
with chicks
Okay.
these days. And because the deal was I wasn't not drinking for her, I was not drinking for me, so that my liver would, eventually shrink down to normal people's size and
Sure.
things like that. And then, so that was in 2000, and it must have made an impact on our relationship because in 2005 our daughter was born.
Oh, really?
So,
That's cool.
yeah, I became a father at age 44.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That is awesome. Yeah.
You haven't met my daughter.
I have not, but I've enjoyed the stories. Because sometimes when we come on the radio, you, me, and Adam will sit there between the breaks, and that's when sometimes we're laughing so hard. When you got to come back from break, it's tough to. You're like, he just, this is Andy, and I'm like, that's a professional right there. Because, so drinking wise, I mean, where did it start? Like the Navy? You were in the Navy for a while.
Yeah, maybe even before that. I
Okay.
mean, I grew up in the 70s, right? So I graduated in 79. Drinking with the pals.
Okay.
Drinking out the sand pits, and things
Right.
like that. The Navy, however, and I don't blame the Navy, trust me on this,
Okay.
but the Navy taught me how to drink like a man.
All right.
Yeah.
Where were you stationed at?
I was first 9 months of my enlistment. I was in Millington, Tennessee, which is north of Memphis.
Defending the Tennessee border.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
All comers.
All right.
Cross
All right.
that Mississippi, you got the fucking Navy to deal with, buddy. It was a Naval Air Technical Training Center, and I never wanted to be an electrician, an avionics technician. I wanted to be a journalist, mate, so that I could do radio in the Navy.
Right.
And so I intentionally flunked out of a really primo job in the Navy, and then went to the fleet. From there, I went to an aircraft carrier, a nuke aircraft carrier, the Eisenhower, and went. Oh shit! We were in we were in the U.S. less than we were overseas, and our home port was Naples, Italy, overseas. So, and I just got to say this too, as a veteran, when people come up and they say thanks for your service, I'm like, no. No. Thank you. And they're like, what are you talking about? And I said, listen, here's the deal. I drank my way across 4 continents and several huge bodies of water on your dime.
Andy.
So thank you.
We've had this conversation because I always feel it takes a badass to defend this country. It takes a real man or a real woman to defend this country. It takes a bigger one to do it hungover.
That's right.
You know what I mean? If you wake up and you're not hurting and you don't feel like someone's shit in your mouth, that makes anything a little tougher, Andy.
Oh, bring it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I got your jihad right here, buddy.
Just kill them all. Just kill them all. But just do it quietly. That gun's a little loud.
Yeah. Just whisper when you do that, all right?
I put a silencer on it.
No, I had 4 wonderful years. I got out. I kept getting busted, okay, when I was in the Navy.
4.
Well, the first time was for a joint in my pocket. That was pretty stupid. That was my first day aboard the aircraft carrier.
Wow.
They're like, oh, we got your number. A couple of times, well, one was for a drinking binge in Athens, Greece. Lost a stripe over that. I mean, I went in E2. I made E3 in school. Went to the fleet E3. Got busted. Made E3. Got busted. Made E3. And it just kept... I made E3 3 times. I was made for advancement. I just keep imagining what would have happened if I had quit, screwing myself out of that. But I think it's part of developing the stories that I like to tell now. Because I partied, like I said, Hunter S. Thompson is my hero.
Right.
But Hunter S. Thompson has a quote, and it is, I'll have to paraphrase it, but basically, if you're going to be crazy, you better get paid for it. Otherwise, they're going to lock you up. We weren't getting paid for being crazy in the Navy, but we were partying like Hunter Thompson.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? We were madmen.
Wow.
And then until zero tolerance came along, and we all had to give up the drugs. So now, now we're hungover, and we can't even smoke a doobie.
Oh, shit.
Leave us the fuck alone, because we will nuke your town.
Right.
You know
right.
what I mean?
So what year did you get out of the Navy?
In 1985, honorably discharged.
Okay. That's cool. That's cool.
It kills me. I could have stayed for 6 months. If I'd have just stayed 6 months, I would have made E4, that would have got me out of the greasy, nasty job, scrubbing toilets and all that stuff. And I passed on it. It was like a huge regret in my life. I should have just stayed overseas 6 more months. I might have actually, at that point, avoided my first marriage.
Really?
You know what I mean?
That was your punishment, meeting her?
I think so.
That's awesome.
Last time I saw that woman outside a court of law, she was trying to kill me with a knife.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
and I'm not going to blame her for being crazy. It was a mad, bad drug and alcohol induced abusive relationship.
Wow. So try to kill you with a knife. Is that what you? Well, I guess that's going to lead me to my next question. I know I don't know a lot about guns, but I know you are a huge gun enthusiast.
Gigantic
I
love guns. I grew up with guns.
Okay, so that's something that kind of passed down from your parents, or?
My dad was a gunsmith, a cop, a hunter. He reloaded his own ammunition, and he had 4 boys. He had 4 sons. Okay. And
wait, hold on 1 second before you go. What's this?
What is this? Fireball.
Can I have one more Coors Light, and then that's. I'll shoot this with you real quick.
The guy brings him a shot, and he's begging off another beer.
Well, you know what I mean. It's.
Oh my God!
Delgado's is kind of
shameless.
This is my house.
It is. This is the house.
Yeah, this is a great house.
But no, my dad had 4 boys, and my dad. I got to tell you, man, I don't know how much I've ever talked about my dad. I don't talk about him on stage. He died about a year and a half ago, and huge blow. I've lost both my parents now, and we were a very tight Irish kind of family, right?
Okay.
And we missed my mom intensely, but she was sick for many, many years and then died. My dad kind of suddenly died, and so it was a bigger shock. But my dad could paint. He could pour the concrete for the foundation, frame up a house, build it, wire it, plumb it, and then paint the pictures you hang on the wall, okay? My dad could do anything. He could build a gun. The only thing my dad hated was the internal combustion engine. He would never work on automobiles.
Really? Well, how come?
He never liked it. Never liked it.
Really?
He could. I think he helped me replace a clutch in my 71 Corolla one time or something. He could do it. He just hated to do it. He just didn't like it. It's one thing he didn't like. He loved everything else. My dad was an artist, a sculptor. Like I said, he was an electrician. In his shop, the heater for his shop was the heater core from an old dryer, some triple wall pipe, and a thermostat. And it kept a 30-foot by 22-foot shop warm in sub-zero weather.
Really?
He was a phenomenal human being. But all of his boys, he could write. He was a columnist. He was a teacher. He was an author. So my dad was all of these Renaissance things. All 4 boys, we got a little piece of that, right? So not any one of us is the overall guy that my dad was. It was like growing up in the shadow of Hemingway, right?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, but maybe you're just not his. How do I say this? You're just not his clone. I mean, you're not.
Right.
But you, all of you probably have a little piece of him, but you have, as a whole, different things probably he couldn't do.
Probably.
You see what I'm saying? I mean,
yeah.
But anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Anyway, so I got the gun part, and I freaking love guns. I mean, shit. You know what? I'm packing.
You're packing right there. Just in case this goes on. Hey, Moose, I don't want to have this on there. I said, Andy, we're doing this and whatever you want me to edit, I'll edit.
Yeah, I was going to tell you. You just keep talking. I'll let you know.
So let me ask you this. You were telling me, Adam, and I know nothing about guns. I've never actually fired a gun.
You're shitting me.
No.
You and I have got to go shooting.
In Kansas. That's why you want to bring me to Kansas.
We're going to go shoot up liberal Kansas.
Hey, little Kansas, I got a drunken Swickenese with a gun and no idea how to use it. It's our next game show. This won't turn out shitty at all, will it, man? You know,
what could possibly go wrong?
Right. You know what? Boom, boom, boom. Guess what? You're going to be on the radio the next day in Kansas. They're going to get you then, brother. I'm going to ask you this. You were trying to explain to me and Adam, that peaked. You were trying to explain to me and Adam, you actually assembled your own gun from like different parts and pieces. Which gun were you talking about?
Well, my dad and I were going to. No. I did not build it. That's my my whitetail rig. My dad and I were going to do that. And I had to end up, then he ended up getting very sick and then dying in the middle of that whole project. So I never got to build my own gun. I took it to a gunsmith.
Okay.
And can I drop his name? Bill Miller in Sterling. If you need gun work done, that guy is freaking phenomenal. He's
really?
He's like a little baby. He's like in his 30s. He's tiny. He's not tiny, but he's young. I mean, this guy's really, really young, and he's a phenomenal gunsmith. But no, we didn't get to build the gun. We were going to. I've got all the pieces. We're going to put them together, and then sadly my dad passed on and was unable to do that because that was one of the things that I hadn't yet done.
Okay.
So I've done work on guns. I've done a little bit of my own gunsmithing, but for the real serious stuff, I go to a guy who trained to do that.
Okay. And what's his name again?
Bill Miller.
How do you find Bill?
I'm trying to think. I used to have his card on me. Trying to think of the name of his gunsmithing shop. Look up Gunsmith, Sterling, Colorado.
Where is he at in Sterling?
He operates out of his house.
Okay.
On Fifth Avenue, right next door to Kim's Fashion Eyewear.
Okay.
So if you're in Sterling, you can find him there. But if you want to look him up, something 1A Gunsmithing. I can't remember the name of his company. It's not easy to remember. It's not like Bill's Gunsmithing, which would make sense. Yeah. Bill, if you're listening.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with the Juggernaut Brothers podcast. We're going to pimp all my friends and people. I don't care. I don't care if your name drop. I don't give a shit what you do.
Okay. Then Bill Kreitz out of Wiggins doesn't need the pop, but he is masterful at bluing the guns.
What's bluing mean?
Well, gun metal there's two kinds. There's stainless, and there's what's called carbon steel.
Okay.
And a carbon steel, in order to keep it from rusting, you actually rust it. But the chemicals that you use turn it blue-black.
Oh, okay.
So when you see a gun that's a real pretty blue-black, that is done through a rusting process, a controlled chemical process, using heat and several salty chemicals and things like that, and some pixie dust and freaking magic, you know.
Right.
According to the gunsmiths, who won't ever tell me how they do it.
Well, why would they?
Why would they, you know?
Yeah.
And so Bill Kreitz does a wonderful job. So when you pick up a gun in a gun shop, and it's got, say, a wooden stock on it. It's a walnut, and it's got a blue-black, real glossy blue-black barrel on it.
Okay.
Somebody has spent a lot of time bluing that barrel. And fewer guns are made that way these days because it's cheaper to do and just as durable in many cases to do a spray-on, bake-on kind of finish that a lot of gun makers are going to because it's a lot cheaper. And so the days of my dad's days are almost past us. The days that when craftsmen were very proud of their hand work.
Right,
you know?
right.
That's why I'm really happy to know Bill, because if I need a gun built and I want it done right and just to my specifications, sky's the limit, man. Until my money runs out, you know, because it's expensive to have that done.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you could buy a rifle on the internet or in a gun shop, a 30-06. You've heard of that, right? So a 30-06. Yeah. You could buy an accurate, functioning, reliable, good gun from a reputable company like Remington or Winchester or well, maybe not Winchester, but Remington or Savage for something like $400 with a scope on it.
Okay.
Ready to go and be ready to go hunting, just like that.
Okay.
Or you can have a guy like Bill Miller build you a gun for $1,500, $1,600, $1,800, unless you want the stock done, and then the money starts really.
Really?
Yeah. This guy's work is phenomenal.
But it's custom. So
yeah, it's all custom.
Okay.
And so his work is just I don't know. It's just as good as any I've ever seen, and I've been around guns my whole life.
Well, we're giving a big plug here, so I think that should get you a discount next time, Andy. That's how this works.
All right, Bill. I will tell him when to listen.
That's how the pimping goes.
But that's just, it's my love of guns.